Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Missing Link. I am your host, Miss Sabrina. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for everyone that's joining me right now. Thank you for everybody that is in the chat. I see you. Hello, my soulmates. I love you guys so much. Shout out to Miss Danielle Owens. She is a new member of the Seoul Mate community. I appreciate you so much. I love you guys so much. And shout out to anyone that's going to be watching this replay. Shout out to you because you are amazing. Definitely like the video now. Subscribe if you have not. Don't forget to click the notification bell. And guess what we have today? We have today Mr. Tory Taylor. How amazing. I am so honored to have your presence in front of me right now.
And I'm honored to be in your presence. I mean, just the opportunity to be on here is a blessing. And I'm glad you invited me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad that you took time out of your busy schedule to come on here with me. So we're going to move forward because me and you, we're going to be back and forth like, no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, I definitely do appreciate you though. Okay. So let's just get, and everyone that's watching and you guys know with The Missing Link, I don't waste no time. I get right into it because it is not about me. It is about Tory tonight. So my very first question to you, Tory, is who is Tory Taylor?
Tory, I am a simple guy that's in real estate investment. I'm also a realtor. Been doing it for over a decade now. I'm from Alabama. I'm a Southern brother, Southern gentleman. I started there years ago, and just been kind of developing my career in not only being a realtor but transitioning to real estate investment over the last year.
So, okay. So before because I'm about to start asking those questions and we're not there just yet. Okay. So you said, where are you from? Like, where were you born? Where did you play on the playgrounds at 4 years old? Like, where did you grow up?
So I'm from the trenches. I'm just playing. No. So I was born in Syriac Village, Turkey, because my mom was in Air Force base. So she was in the Air Force.
Wow.
So after that, I immediately transitioned to Montgomery, Alabama, lived in Denver, Colorado for a while, spent a little time in Texas, came back to Montgomery, Alabama, where I spent about 85% of my life until going to college. And I moved to Birmingham and spent the rest of my career, my life coming, in Birmingham till I came up to the DC area.
Wow. So how was it living in Turkey?
Well, I was young, so I came back before the age of 1. Yeah, I don't remember. I said I'm gonna go back one time pretty soon, just kind of experience the culture, but I haven't made that trip yet. There's so many other places I want to see first.
Yeah, right. That's what I was gonna ask you next. Is have you ever thought about going back there?
Yeah, I have. I actually have.
That is
and I
so.
shall.
Say it again.
I said I have, and I shall. I shall go.
Yes, you shall. So, how did you end up in like the Maryland, DC area?
So it had to be like after college, because I went to the University of Alabama in Birmingham. After college, one of my boys came to DC because he got into the Secret Service, and he moved up here by himself for a while. And he kept bugging me, "Come up here, man! Come up here, man! I need boys up here. I need a homie up here, man. It's just me, A, B, C, D." So at that point in time, like maybe a year later, he was going through a divorce with his wife. So I was like, you know what? I'll come up here and, start a new career field. But I was actually doing pretty good in real estate down in Alabama. So by that time, I was like, well, you know what? I want to see something different. I want to transition. I've been in Alabama all my life. It's not college slow, but it's not that progressive. And I want to see something different. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to come up there. Get me with this government job that had a contract to it. So I started doing government contract work. As a consultant in the security field. And as I came, when I came up here, so it was just a catalyst to come up here. So even though I was doing real estate at the time, I was like, forget it. I need some kind of income. I don't know the market in DC, but I want to leave Alabama. And so he talked me up to coming up here.
So you
got married.
So he got a divorce and they got remarried, or
he got married. Yeah. Like almost about maybe. So he got a divorce and then he started dating somebody, and then like a year, like as soon as I came up here like 6-7 months later, he got engaged. I was like, bro, you talked me up here to kick it, you know what I'm saying? Right. Now you're already booed up, man. So, but I love his wife. He got a good wife, so I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Got to get it when it's good.
Wow. So after you decide to move up here, so you were already doing real estate in Alabama, and
Yes.
then you moved to the DMV area, and then you got your license up here, or was it through reciprocity? Like, how did you have to take the classes again? Did you have to get recertified? Like, how did that work from you selling real estate in Alabama and then coming to the DMV and selling real estate here? Like, how?
Oh, you about to give them the secrets already. And the reason I say this is because this is something I learned. Well, okay, let me start. Let me ask you a question first, and then
Okay.
you about to help a lot of people out.
Okay.
So I got into reciprocity here, but I was licensed in Alabama.
Right.
So I got started in Virginia. Then I ended up getting the reciprocity from Virginia to DC.
Uh-huh.
So this is why I say, well, you're about to help people out. Once you have it, you got it, as long as you don't lose it. And you can go anywhere with it by just studying the state and not having to do the whole test over.
Wow. You just have to learn like the state laws and stuff like that.
Yeah, just don't never let it expire. At least have one license active in one state. Like, now you gotta think it's like 5 states that don't do reciprocity. So you gotta make sure it's not one of those 5 states. But the majority of the United States does reciprocity. So you have to just make sure that your license is still active in a current state to be able to transition to another state.
You know what? It's so funny because one thing about me is like we're sitting here, we're using the terminology. So can you explain to the audience what reciprocity is? Because I know I'm the one that actually said the word. And so can you explain to them what that means to have a better understanding? Because we're talking about it and they're like, wait a minute, what is it? So
yeah. So it's basically if you're licensed or you have some if you're licensed in one state and you've taken the whole test, which is an exam that gives you the national portion, and then you have the state portion. So say our audience is mainly DMV. So you're in Virginia, you get licensed in Virginia, you take the state portion, and then you take the national portion, which is nationally known information that you're supposed to know state to state. Doesn't matter, like stuff like encroachments, fee simples, stuff that you need to know about real estate. And so reciprocity is when you already fulfilled your requirements in one state that took the whole test and you passed the exam. So now you have a license in that state, no matter if it's Alabama, Georgia, Maryland, DC, doesn't matter. You have a license because you took the whole exam, both portions, national and state. And it's a long exam and it's huge. But what it does allow you to do is only have to take the state portion in other states. So just say you're licensed in Virginia, you want to get so-and-so exam and you're moving to Nevada. Oh, I want to be a realtor in Nevada. So now that you're licensed in Virginia, what you would do is get your license print off from Virginia, give it to the commission board or real estate board because it's different. Like Alabama had an Alabama State Commission. Now in DC, there's a real estate board. Virginia, years I took it, but it's all different. But you give it to the local, the board or whatever that is licensed, issues the license. And it allows you just to only take the state portion. Once you take the state portion, you're giving an entire license for that state, like you took the whole national and state. So now you're licensed in that state. And once you're licensed in one state, you're allowed to get reciprocity as long as that state allows that. Not all states, not all 52 states allow that.
Those 5 states that you said.
Yeah, I think 5 states does not allow it, but as long as you're within the realms, then you're good.
Yeah, that's tight. So do you sell residential or do you sell commercial real estate or do you sell both?
Residential, I try to dabble in commercial, but I just stick particularly to residential. Yeah. So that's my field.
Is there more, so the difference, I'm not sure if you know, but is it more profitable to do residential versus doing commercial, or is it about the same?
No, it's more profitable to do commercial. Commercial has a bigger profit margin, and you can make millions off selling commercial real estate. So commercial is always going to be more profitable than residential. Now, residential sales are a little bit faster. I specifically I'm just be honest with you. I don't like dealing with people that much like I was when I was younger. So I specifically work with HUD. So I solicit HUD contracts. What I've done is, worked out with a contract with HUD and their asset management companies, or when they get properties that are foreclosed in the area, then I list those properties. So basically what I do is I like to do the paperwork. I like to do the work. There's multiple facets of real estate people don't understand. You have new home builders, like a company like DR, where they build everything. They have a realtor on site, and they fill the community up, and the person moves on. That's a realtor. You have commercial real estate, where an individual is selling facets of commercial property, such as office space, clubs, restaurants, and that is honestly the highest generated income for realtors. And then you have people such as myself that do foreclosed homes. We got USDA that helps Fannie Mae, as well as some VA properties and HUD properties. So I try to solicit those government contracts and sell properties through foreclosures.
Can you, I know you just kind of said it, but can you just explain a little bit more the difference between being a realtor and a real estate agent and then a broker? Can you do that for me? Just like if you can kind of sum it up.
Yeah. So I can give you this. A realtor and a real estate agent are similar and pretty much the same. A broker is also a realtor, but he is would you say HBIC or whatever, head person in charge.
Yeah.
So basically they're allowed to have people under them, which are real estate agents. So I can be a real estate agent and I'm under a broker, meaning that broker is responsible for everybody's license in the office. But there are also multiple types of brokers. There's principal brokers, and there's brokers that are pretty much over the whole facility, like such as a Keller Williams or a Remax. That broker is over the office. And he may be over certain brokers because there's different lower end brokers, and he holds everybody's license. So therefore, he's responsible for every agent that he has. Now, all of them are realtors, including the broker and the licensed agents. That's what your definition cuts in when you ask me what a realtor is. It can be a broker, it can be a licensed agent. A licensed agent is under a broker. There's no way of getting around that unless you become a broker. That's moving into a different category. And a broker determines the commission for the office. So it may be a 70-30 split, 85-25, 85-15. It all depends, 95-5. It's whatever the broker sets those standards.
Okay, so I'm going to jump off subject, but on subject a little bit. So can we also talk about, because a lot of people, especially you guys that are watching this, that want to get into real estate, like it's so important that you really get with a firm or a brokerage that you're really passionate about and that you really want to be with. Because the reason I say that is, Tory, can we talk about it? The commissions that you'll get from whatever brokerage that you're with, and also to how much money you end up ditching out to whatever broker firm or brokerage or real estate company you get with. For example, Remax. This is just what I heard. I've never worked for Remax, allegedly. Remax is 100, right? I had to put a disclaimer out there, but Remax is 100%, which means that you get 100% of the commission, I heard, but when it comes to marketing, when it comes to business cards, when it comes to advertising, when it comes to everything like that has to do with your job, the broker doesn't give you, or let's just say Century 21 might give a 70-30, but they have an office space for you to come to. You can use their fax machines. You can use their phones. They provide you the business cards. They provide you marketing and advertising. They provide everything. So you get that, or they get that percentage of what they would take from the pay that you would get from the commission from selling a house. But I heard from Remax, it's different because Remax doesn't give you nothing. They kind of just throw you out there in the wolves and they're like, you got to make it do what it do. And I don't know if you know that about Remax or not, but that's what I heard. So is that kind of true? And that's what also depends on the commission base for each brokerage?
So I think, one, each company is different.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, the office is different. Some offer a little bit more training. You have a little bit more hands-on work that are willing to coach and give you leads.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've dealt with different companies. I mainly spent most of my time with Keller Williams, but I've had some Keller Williams just throw you out to the wolves. But you do have those trainings. They're more focused on trainings. But you got some offices that don't really train like that. When I started with Keller Williams, I think 2012, the first brokerage I worked with, they gave you business cards to start. You know, they gave you a little stipend on signs, and et cetera, like that. But the other Keller Williams that I went to didn't do the same. Now, I've heard people say, well, Remax, well, I got a good broker. They're willing to take my calls, this and that, and they very helpful. But then I've heard some people say, well, that's thrown in and I'm not at any help. So I think it's based on the broker, because I've also been with Keller Williams, and I couldn't get in touch with the broker when I needed those pertinent questions answered. And I've been with certain Keller Williams brokers and then they'll pick up the phone on the spot. They're very helpful. So I think the biggest portion of when you're looking for an office is to vet your broker. Ask around. Ask the other agents in the office, you know, is the broker accessible or readily available to assist you? Because they'll tell you, you know, most agents, they're friendly, but they're commission based. You're competition to them, so it doesn't matter. They're gonna generally 9 times out of 10 just tell you the truth anyway.
Yeah, so definitely, guys, if you're interested in getting into real estate, once you get your real estate license, definitely vet the company you want to work for, the broker you want to work under, because it matters. So let's just put that out there. Okay, so now going back to, because you did mention school and getting your education. So with schooling and getting your real estate license, like how many I need to stop talking like I know what I'm talking about. So when you go to school, like, what kind of schooling do you need to get your real estate license? Because of course I do real estate. So it's like, I don't want to keep talking, like using our terminology, because people are like, what is she talking about? I don't understand. So I'm trying to talk down a little bit. I'm sorry. Not like,
I got you.
So like, what kind of education, like where can you go to get your real estate license? Do you have to go to like a school? Can you go online? How many hours will you need? Do you need continuing education, which is, do you have to like renew your license? Do you have to like take courses after a certain amount of time? Can you explain a little bit about the schooling and how that works?
Yeah, so I'm not going to get specific on the hours because I'm an old man and my memory is not always working with me. I'll be like, oh, this many hours. But so you got two choices. You can either go to a classroom or you can take it online. So it's just got to figure out what's best for you when you're looking to take a course for real estate. Because a lot of people are best with just going at their own pace and doing homes. You have a lot of single fathers, a lot of single moms. You got people who work in between. So maybe the online might be a little bit better for you. But if some people need to learn in the classroom, take the course on the classroom. The state will offer certain classrooms, certain accredited, they will give you a list of accredited, places to go to that classroom and learn and get your certificate to be able to take the state test. So what you do is you've got to pass those courses. They give you a certain amount of like code of ethics. You have to learn the stuff about real estate laws, state laws, the national portion, which tells you, like, say, if a house is close to a lake and, does the water in the lake, who does that belong to? They'll tell you like stuff like that, or simple as from the sky to the ground, who owns the airspace. It's a lot of technical stuff. A lot of that is basically national portion. You just really got to know it. Like encroachment, if you have to go through one house to driveway to get to
your house.
Yeah, to your house. Can they legally block you? They can't. Eminent domain about, state being able to take your, property that you own, and they can say it's a need for the state to take their property. So there's a lot of stuff you need to learn. And I think the best route for any individual is how you learn. You learn best in the classroom? I don't. Or do you learn best kind of just going through and teaching yourself? I passed all my exams the first time. So because I'm better at teaching myself, reading myself, going through it, analyzing. To me, when I take those tests and I read, I just apply a lot of common sense. Like, what's common sense? Can they do this? Can they not do this? Just a lot of common sense will help, to be honest with you. Just break it down. Don't overcomplicate it. Make it simple.
Yeah. So, but you do have the option of actually getting your license online.
Well, no. So you get your certificate to be able to take your license online. So an online class in a classroom setting, they only give you those course credits to be able to go to the state and apply for your license and be able to take that test. You have to take it at a state facility where you have to go into the facility. You have to go in with no cell phones. You go into a quiet room. You go into your own cubicle. You go log onto a computer. And if you're taking it for the first time, it's probably almost close to 200 questions that you have to take. And then the state will give you a printout immediately of if you pass or not. They don't tell you what's wrong, what you missed, which kind of sucks. You know what I'm saying? But that's how you get your state exam. So courses online and courses in the classroom are just a certificate to be able to go to the state and say, hey, I'm eligible to take my exam. Take your exam at the state facility, like DC, Maryland, and Virginia. It's PSI that does the exam for the DMV area. So you got to go to PSI. You got to go online and say, hey, well, I want to schedule my exam. And the one thing about it I hate about the DMV area, though, once you schedule that exam, they do not let you reschedule. That money is stuck. So you got to be sure you make your appointment.
So how much is it? So for you to take the course, is it cheaper to take the course online, or is it cheaper to take the course like at a community college or wherever they offer that class for you to get that certificate? Like, is it cheaper? Is it less time that you'll have? Like, say for instance, you could do it online. You can, is there a time limit? Like, do you have to do it within 6 months? And when you're in class, do you have to finish within 6 months? Like, is it a time limit for you to do it?
So the difference in going to class is structure. The class may be 2 times a week. So you have to make it to those classes. You make them skip a class, but you got to make it to those classes. And they may give you a certain time frame to complete those courses and to go to those classes. So you have to go to, say you may miss one class, but you have to make the next one. With online, I like it better. And don't get me wrong, it's not any cheaper. Those classes run between, it all depends. The one thing I do like about online too, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. But online, you can find coupons. You can find coupons. So if you see the class for $400, do your little research. You can find a coupon. Like I did one with McKissick.com. I found a first time I heard license, I found maybe like a $50 or $75 coupon.
Where is this? Say that again.
www.McKissicks.com. That's one I went to, and I found a coupon online for $75. So the class was going to be $400, but I got it for $325. I think I also did them for one other license. I can't remember. Was I think it was the DC license, but they didn't offer it in Virginia. I had to go to another class in Virginia. I did all mine online anyway, because I got to do it at my own pace. And like when I was trying to get my DC license, I was trying to get it faster. So I wanted to get my lease because I had a contract coming up. I had one of those contracts. I'm applying to HUD saying, hey, I'm licensed in DC. I need the license in DC. But just FYI, DC is a little bit different. The mayor issues the licenses in DC. So it's not a commission. Now, the mayor has 7 people, I think it's 7 or 5 people under them, 7 people under him that's on the board, which is like 2 real estate agents and 2 brokers, 2 regular people, stuff like that. But the mayor actually issues a license. So I got my DC license, maybe I applied for it in January. I didn't get it to September, like almost a half a year later. So DC is very slow. But to go back to your question, because I want them to be informed, because a lot of our people are DMV people. To answer your question, it's no cheaper online than it is in the classroom. Research, you make it find coupons or find discounts. The only difference about online, you go at your leisure, you go at your pace. You can finish your class in weeks. I did my DC class in less than 30 days. Did my Virginia class took maybe a month and a half. My Alabama one, that took about 6 months because it was the whole portion. It was the national and state portion.
I was going to say, why did it take so much longer for you for Alabama?
That was my first license, so I had more to study.
Yeah.
And then I was really busy working full time at that time. So this is before I was doing real estate. I was HR manager for a Renaissance hotel.
Wow. That's pretty good.
My master's in human resources. I got a master's in human resources. I got an undergrad in business and psychology. So
wow. That's pretty tight. Before I got into real estate, I actually did hotels too.
Well, okay.
And I loved it. I love working for the hotels. It was something about it. I don't know. Maybe that's why I got into real estate, because it kind of made me feel, anyway, that's enough about me. This is your interview. I'm sorry.
No, sounds good. It's weird because I work for the Renaissance, right? I never used I needed the discount until I quit.
So after you,
yeah, like some discounts was fire. Like get a room for like people, my discount was like the room might be $300 a night, my room like $69, $89, and I'm like, now I need the discount. I ain't with it, but I never used it while I worked for the company.
Dang, because the Renaissance, that's a nice hotel too. That's like a nice chain.
Yeah, when I travel state to state, I like to try a different Renaissance. Either that or a JW or what are their rates.
So with the education, real quick, before we move on, with the education portion, do you have to, because I know I asked like a whole bunch of questions at one time, but do you have to, and I know it's called, for us, I know it's called continuing education. So after you get your license, is there some type of education that you have to take after you receive your license, or like do you have to retake courses like every couple of years? Can you just kind of explain that to them real quick? Because a lot of people, I don't want you guys to think once I get my real estate license I'm good, like your driver's license, you got to renew it. You do have to,
You're right. So every 2 years you got to take I think it's 4 courses, which are 2 or 3 credits each, so a total of 12 credits. So you take 4 courses. Like you can pick any course you want, like code of ethics, or some people do regulations, or simple stuff. There's so many different classes to pick to get those credits to renew your license. So you have to renew it every 2 years.
Okay. So on top of real estate and you selling real estate, you flip your own homes as well too. Is that correct?
Yep. Flip them like hotcakes.
Say it again.
Flip them like hotcakes. Flipping them. I'll be flipping them.
Okay. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
Hey.
But we're about to get into the questions. So we're about to get into
You're going to want to hear that story, how I got into it. That's not the best story I got.
Oh, honey, that's what we about to start talking about. That's what we're about to start talking about. But, I don't want to jump ahead of myself. So flipping houses. So with the houses that you flip, do you, as a real estate agent, buy these homes under your license? And is it possible for you to be the agent to sell the home for your client to receive that commission if you were to buy the home yourself? Does that make sense? Am I saying that, guys?
You didn't say it right, but I got what you're saying. Because basically, you want to be able to sell the home yourself, is it possible for you to get the commission on it because you own the home? Right. And additionally, you don't buy it under your license, but this is where we're going to go into it and we'll scratch the surface. Okay. I do real estate under a business license. Guys, stop doing stuff in your name. Number one, I do everything in business. My life is business. Cell phone business, car business. If I go to the bathroom, it's probably for business. Everything is in business.
Yeah, you're right.
So when you get your real estate license, this is a tidbit, because I'm about to answer a question, but this is fundamental that you understand this. When you get in real estate, you get your license. First thing you need to do is apply for an LLC and an EIN number. And then formulate your business to a business address. And you have your business address, eventually you do your DUN number, and you also build business credit. But that's a whole other story. That's not what we're here for. But everything in your business, to answer her question, I buy these homes and I buy them in my business. And when I buy the house in my business owns that house. So therefore, Tory doesn't own the house. Tory business owns the house. So when I sell the house, yes, I can represent the house. It's my, even though it's my house, and even though I am the agent on it, you still have to give them the dual consensual agreement, which means I am letting that individual know that I have a stake in the house, and that will allow me to sell that house. And even though I do own it as a realtor. Now, do I always use myself? No, I don't. Sometimes I don't have time. I let other people do it. Like the one I just finished now, I let Donovan do it. Donovan is the realtor of the house. I just finished it last week. So he's got it listed up. Y'all check it out. But on that note, when you're buying these homes and you're fixing them up, make your rule of thumb is to make sure you get your money back. It's not everything investment is a bad investment or a good investment. My rule of thumb is I know I can get my money back at worst case scenario. If I can't do nothing else, I can get my money back.
Right.
Did I answer all your questions?
Okay. Yeah. I have more. I just don't want to cut you off, so that's why I'm just.
I want to make sure I answer that one question though.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh wow. So, if one wanted to start flipping homes, what is the very first thing they should do? So, I wake up one morning. Sabrina wakes up one morning, and she's like, "I want to start flipping houses today." What would I need to do? Because do I have to have a real estate license in order to flip homes?
The answer is no. You do not need a real estate license to be in the investment. Now, if you want to wake up in the morning, I want to flip homes. First thing you need to do is decide where you want to flip homes.
Okay.
Secondly, and I'm only going to give you second. She asked the first thing. Secondly, you need to know how you're going to fund these homes. But that's another question she's going to ask later.
So how can I fund the house? So I wake up one morning and I say I want to flip houses in Virginia. So I don't have any money. What can I do?
You gotta have money or credit. But I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't mind helping. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do it light because this is a workshop that I'm gonna come up with Carrie pretty soon. We're coming up with a workshop to help people. So I don't want to give too much, but I'm gonna give you a little. Okay. So when I started, I used my own money. Didn't know better. Tory did not know better. Tory was a self-taught young black man trying to figure it out. I knew I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I got tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I got tired of asking God, why me? Why? I see the guy with the Range Rover. He got all the cars. You know, I just want to be successful. Okay. So I was on my drink for a minute, singing Savage. But anyway, I would use my own money, because I was doing so well in real estate. I built up and I used my own money. Biggest fail. Secondly, this is the third thing you need to know, and I'm still answering your second question, but it's important because if I forget this, they're going to mess up. Have a team of contractors. I lost $65,000 my first flip because the contractors were shady. The contractors weren't doing things that they were saying they were going to do, and they were not doing them within the deadlines. So when you have money, or you're using somebody else's money, and this is where I'm going to give you a little tidbit, just a little bit. Loans, lines of credit, and lenders. I'm not going to go specific in that because that's what the workshop is going to be about. But we're going to show you how to access those individuals to access money and also a line of credit. But this is what people don't understand too. Once you've done real estate for a while, you've done multiple houses, the credit doesn't matter. You build a portfolio. The portfolio matters. So now you might not be the best person with credit, but you got a portfolio. And people are going to give you money like that because they know you get results. But go back to your second question. No, you don't have to have a lot of money, but you just have to have some money because you got to get to a point where you can show them if they have to hold up your funding, then they need to know you can maintain for a week or two. They're not going to give you nothing if you don't have nothing. You have to have something. So, and a lot of people can get it. Like I was talking to a guy that started in real estate, and he was using I talked to another guy in real estate. He was using sorry, somebody was calling. Okay. And he was using a line of credit. So I used a line of credit and my own money the first home I bought. A line of credit. I went to Navy Federal and said, hey, I need so and so amount of money for repairs. I was able, you call them back. I was able to get a line of credit and put my cash up. So that's how I was able to successfully do the first home.
So when you're redoing your home, is it best? Okay, so contractors. Say for instance, I know how to do some of the work. Say for instance, I know I could do 30% of the work myself. Should I do the work myself, or is it best to hire contractors for the entire project?
I think it's best to do what you can do yourself. If you know how to do it legitimately, you know how to tile floors. You know how to paint, because you're saving money. They're going to charge you a surplus. And a lot of contractors, you got two different type of contractors. Ones that will break down the labor and the materials for you. And those are the ones I deal with. I need to know that this is legitimate. I don't deal with ones that don't give me a breakdown of labor and materials, because sometimes I just want to buy the materials and you do the labor and let me know your labor. And there's some that will factor in labor and materials. And those to me, a lot of times are inflated. Like they might factor several $1,000s into just pocket that. So be leery of these contractors. You will lose a lot of money dealing with contracts. Like even with my GM, I had to get onto him about this last project. He's paying people ahead of time because you trust them. But at the end of the day, you're going to be looking at me for money. So never pay them up front, pay them a portion. Like it's supposed to be, 33, 33, 33. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to be. But make a long story short, if you can do it yourself, do it yourself. That's going to save you money. Just make sure it's realistic and you can get it done in a time frame. Everything is reliant on time. Talk to the contractors. First thing you want to say, how long can you do to get this house done? How much? What's the labor? What's the material cost? Okay, so the labor is going to be 25,000, 30,000. The materials are going to be another 20,000. Okay, got you. So, all right, now you got a breakdown. So if you want to pay him for all of it, and he get the materials, but you got to have an understanding of these materials, because now, and you got to write it down specifically in your contract, because you don't want to come back weeks later and you're missing like wall plates, like for the electric. Oh, that went in materials. So you got to really be specific and break it down to these people. I let my mom take over one project for me towards the end, like maybe 3-4 years ago. She was like, son, I went over there. The house looks nice, but they need to paint the cabinets. They really need to paint the cabinets. Okay, messed up. Let my mom handle it. Okay, mom, how much he's going to charge for the cabinets? You want to charge $1,200 for a cabinet? $1,200 for freaking kitchen cabinets? Is it? Okay, cool. All right, mom, send you the money. Guess what? I'm gonna be nice, because what I want to say, I'm not gonna say. This guy painted the outside of the cabinets. Didn't paint the inside. Painted the outside.
$1,200.
$1,200. That's why I say you really have to.
You gotta be specific,
specific, because they will take you. I have never been state to state, no matter how many contracts I did. It doesn't matter what race they are, what color they are. They will all get you. I've dealt with melanated individuals. They will all get you if you do not be specific and do not stay on them. I've had an AC guy, nice guy. He had to put a hole in the wall, never came back to fix it. Had to get on him to fix it. They will let you. These contractors will be your worst enemy and your best friend. And that's where you lose a lot of your money. A lot of people, this is why I want to stress to anybody that wants to be an investor. The contractors will be the make or break it. So that's the most important thing outside of figuring out where you want to invest, how you're going to invest, meaning the finances to be able to fund it. And thirdly, most important, even though it's the third one, it's the most important, because you got to have that contractor for that location. And you got to have that contractor once you figure out your finance. But still, that third one is the most important. A contractor you can trust is going to do the work. It's going to lock your home up each time. It's going to check behind its people to make sure that the work is doing of quality.
And that's so important, you guys, what Tory just said, because what's going to happen is if this is something that you're going to do, this is an investment for you. So, and he also mentioned about trusting them and building a relationship and rapport, because the thing is if you're about to flip houses, if you're going to flip 10 houses in a year, guess what? You don't want to have to go every time looking for brand new contractors. Like, you want to be able to use those same contractors because they're reliable. They show up for work. They're not going to gyp you. They're not going to steal from you. They're not going to lie to you. So it's definitely important that you build a good relationship with your contractors. It's very, very important. It's so funny because when I was doing real estate, just real quick story, I was doing it for about 10 years before I actually got out of it. And I just saw one of the contractors at Sam's Club the other day. Literally, he came up to me, big old Caucasian dude, big old hurly dude looking like Santa Claus, comes up behind me and he grabs me, and him and his wife is sitting there laughing. And this is one of my contractors from when I did real estate. But that's the kind of relationship. Like, we were giving each other Christmas cookies. Like, his wife was baking me cookies for Christmas,
Yeah.
and it's so important to have, like, to not burn your bridges and to have a good relationship with these people. Good information. So do you have to, okay, so when you're getting permits for your flips, I'm moving ahead of myself. Do you have to get permits for flips when you're flipping houses? Is it your responsibility? Is it the contractor's responsibility? And if so, does it cost money?
This is a lot. And the reason I say it's a lot, because some of this needs to be said off camera, some of this needs to be said. But no, legitimately, you do have to get permits, but it's your contractor's responsibility to get those permits. Mm-hmm. So it all depends on what you need. Like electric, you need permits, gas and havoc system, you need permits. Mm-hmm. It all depends on the amount of work that needs to be done. Like, it's minor stuff you don't need a permit. If mm-hmm. you need to put a whole electric system, like the one I did in Baltimore, I had to get a permit. I had to put the whole electric system in, like lights, everything that plugs up, outlets, stuff like that, the havoc system, the plumbing. I had to put everything in the house. So I had to get permits, and it's up to that general contractor to get permits. And when you get those permits, make sure they're displayed in the window. And if he says he got permits, make sure you see those permits. And additionally, a lot of people don't know, depending on where you are, you have to have inspections along mm-hmm. the process. Mm-hmm. So don't let your contractor get too far along in the process, and you're looking now, you got the drywall up, and you haven't had a plumbing or a havoc inspection. You got to take those walls down. So it's important to, even though you trust your contractor, to make sure. I've had some contractors be like, "Oh, they would start putting the drywall up," and I'm like, "Okay, did you have the inspection yet?" You would have to take all that down, right? Because they're so up about getting it up. They're not worried about your inspections. They're worried about getting paid. Right. Your inspections are, even though it's his job to get permit, to make sure your house is inspected properly, is on you. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to care more than you. Nobody's going to care more about your money than you. Mm-hmm. So once he's finished the electric, you have to ask, "Hey, it's electric time. Did we get that inspection? Hey, the HVAC is done and the plumbing's done. Did we get that inspection? Mm-hmm. Is the gas been checked? Did we get that inspection?" Because a lot of them will mold over those inspections. So to answer your question, you have to get those permits. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. If it's something minor, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. So with the flips, can you give me an example of the profits you can make from a flip? Like, and I kind of want you to break it down. Like, you bought this house for X amount of dollars. You spent this amount of money to do the flip or to refurbish it or to do whatever you wanted to do to it. I'm just kind of giving you an example. You can explain it how you would do it with you flipping your homes. Like, what would you have to do? How much would you spend with each part of the project? And then how much profit would you make at the end? And everything is a guesstimate. So, like, nothing like in concrete. You can just kind of give us an idea of how much it would be for, like, everything.
So I'll tell you about the last project. I $250 in cash, $250K in cash. The budget was supposed to be $100. 110. I actually went over budget 135, so 135K in budget.
Okay, so hold on. Hold on, Tori. So so the house was 250,000 that you paid for. No, 150,000. You were breaking up a little bit. I'm sorry.
So actually, it's a little low. It was 240. It was 240, 242, 242. I paid 242
for the house.
And the budget was 100K.
Okay, so the cost of the house guys was 240,000. The budget that the 100,000 you were using that to actually fix the house up.
Yeah. So I went over, but I did go over budget. So I still gotta get the budget together. But I think it was, I say 35, say about 112 in budget over the budget. I mean, I went 12,000 over the budget, but so 112 into the house. So that was sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
Yeah, no. So 352 and then 12. So what? 364. 364 is what I put in the house, right? Paid for the house and put into the house in the rehab, total rehab. 60K in labor, 60K in labor, 52K in materials, right? ARV for the house on resale average. If I had did the heritage thing, which is the heritage, which gives a tax credit at 520 because it lowers the taxes, but I didn't do that. And I'm not going to go into that because it's going to complicate it. Because it's different factors when you buy a house. Like some homes, when you fix them up, you get credits, but you have to do it a certain way, and it takes longer because the city got to come step by step by step, and it takes forever, so it's not worth it. But anyway, to keep it simple, 362 in the house, right? Okay. The house resale value is now 500K, right? So now people look at that. Well, I made price. So he made 300. He put 362, and now it's 500K in the house. So what is that, like 138, 138? And looking at that as profit, right? But it's not necessarily profit because also when you buy that house, you still have to pay closing costs. So a lot of people don't factor out the city costs. So, and then you have orientation points, which is stuff that you buy down. So say, let's subtract, we got 138 in profit. Let's subtract the closing costs. So maybe like another 10K that in your profit that you didn't see. Then your negotiation. So we're like at what, 128, let's say just 120, let's say 125, just to have it fair, 13,000 in closing costs from the initial purchase. Now we got 125 in profit. That's what you're going to factor in if you're going to use a realtor. If you didn't use a realtor, you got to pay that realtor out of that profit. Additionally, if you agree to pay any closing costs, but you have 125K. Me, my rule of thumb is if I fix that house up and I'm putting $362 in it, I got to at least be able to get my money back for $362,000. If I can walk away with nothing, I'm fine. Right. But But I look at my profit. So now I took a house that was only worth 242, put 112,000 in it, and now it's worth 500K. Now we're not looking at the closing cost of 138K. That's my profit. Now I got to figure out what I'm shelling out now from closing costs, realtors, fees, and stuff like that. If I'm not going to be the realtor on my own, I'm not licensed in Maryland, so. What I can do, and this is for realtors, you can send it to your office and get a commission fee off that realtor. So it's reciprocal. So I always tell people I'm licensed to help you in any state, especially if you have a big office. You work for Remax, you work for Keller Williams. Oh, Sabrina, you want to buy a house in Texas? I got you, girl. I got you. One phone call, you get a bit of that commission as well. You got two realtors instead of one. It's always magic. It's always business. Like I told you, I do HUD contracts. I call people and say, hey, you interested in doing a HUD contract? Okay, let me send you that referral fee contract. Any HUD that you do, I get a piece of it. And that's what I do too. So I'm big on network because it means network. And when I'm able to get a check from other people, it's always business. Yeah. But hopefully I broke that down to you. So that ARV, I put that much in. Now the house is valued at 500K. That's based on the comps in the market.
And you've made a profit of a little over $100,000.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you take that $100,000 and get another property to flip, or what do you do with that money? Not personally, like I don't want to know your personal business, but
No, that's fine.
flipping houses, like, do you take that money and do you get another house to flip, or do you invest it, or what would be something good for you to do if this is something that you're doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you put it to the side,
Perfect.
or what do you do?
No, that's a perfect question. So it's two routes that you take. For those who don't need the money back fast, to me, there's two options. If I'm gonna give you what options is gonna answer your question first. You can either put it in a 1031 exchange. That means the city and state holds that money until you want to buy more property. So it's not taxed. So now you're increasing your investments.
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah. So 1031 exchange. That means you're just going to put it into a fund where it funds other properties. Now, if you want to draw that money back out, you're taxed on the profit, and that's how it works. Now, secondly, third option, we call the bird method, where if you don't technically want to sell the home, you're really selling it to a bank, to be honest with you, but you still own it. And it's called the cash out refi. It's where I'm just going to give you a tidbit of the information. It's where, say, Tory just paid $250,000 for a house, right? Just put $110K into a house, right? So it's worth $500K right now, right? Mm-hmm. So most loans, banks will give you up to 75% of the house. But now the house is valued at 75%. So I get a loan, get it cashed out. I take my money back that I put in the house. I move on, and I rent it out. And I let somebody else pay the mortgage payments. I sold the house to the bank technically until either the 5 years up, and I want to pay off the house if I still got the money in my bank account, or if I decide I want to refinance it again if the property value has decreased. Mm-hmm. So it all depends. And then generally what you want to do is negotiate your payments. So say, just like the last time talking about the average market rent for that house was $2,800 at the time. Mm-hmm. The inflation since the summer is probably about $3,000 right now. So my negotiation of the payments is 6%, between 4 and 6%, would probably be maybe like a $25,000 right now. So wouldn't leave because the interest rates are kind of high right now. So usually probably about 4% or 3.5. I'm probably looking at 22 or 24, somewhere in that range, depending on the orientation points in the buy down. But so they make a long story short. I'm negotiating my payments. So my payments to save is $24,000. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a market rent of $3,000 each month. I get $600 pocketed in my change. So that $600 goes in my pocket. I'm paying the mortgage company, or I can just pay the mortgage company $3,000. But you got to usually never go with variable market. Never go with a variable interest rate. That means they can always hike it up. They can go to 400% in a year. I always take the 30-year fixed because you don't want no surprise. Mm-hmm. So I always do the 30-year fixed because a lot of times you can pay it off after 5 years without the pay. Mm-hmm. Free advice. Make the charge for that. Sorry, I'm a little long-winded, but when I calculate these numbers, I want to make sure that I'm saying numbers that ain't nobody at home say, "Oh, damn, you need the math wrong." So.
No. This is your interview, Tory. I asked you these questions. I love the answers because, you taught me a few things too. So no, this is informative. I appreciate this information because, like you said, you could be charging us, okay? Like you could be consulting and charging people for this.
You know what's the craziest thing, Sabrina? I haven't even told you half of it. Like I've recently learned so much that it's like, wow, didn't I not know this? I am a self-taught individual. Everything I know about real estate, I had to teach myself. I had to learn to myself. People asked me, was telling me stuff that I was asking questions, and it's so much I want to tell you that I'm just trying to hold it back because when it gets to real estate, I start glowing because this is my field. Yeah. Especially when it comes to investments. But it's so much to know when you're doing real estate that I'm really trying not to just be like, this is what you do. This is what ABC. Because it's a lot more. Even to what I just said, there's still a lot more that you do. Because it's also. Because you got to factor in taxes. And there's ways to not get around it, but to make it make sense. Because, and I had to learn that the hard way. You know what I'm saying? You had to make it make sense. And also, what people don't realize while you're doing this, you're establishing business credit. And there's multiple ways that you have to do it too. It's a right and a wrong way of establishing this at the same time to build your entity. And these homes become entities like little banks. But anyway, let's go to the next one.
Right. No, I appreciate this interview, and I appreciate the okay. Okay, guys, real quick, while Tory is working on getting back with us, just to let you know that down in the description box below, I do have Tory's, okay, hopefully he's going to join. I do have Tory's information down in the description box below. You can follow him on Instagram, which is KingLots38. It is down in the description box below, and also his website if you do need to contact Tory, if you were interested in investing with him, buying a house, so much more. But we have Tory back now. So no, but what I was saying is I appreciate the knowledge that you're giving, because for real, even though you're saying like it's so much more, that just means that everybody that's going to watch this is going to be like, I want more. And guess what? They're going to contact you. You know what I mean? Because like they're hearing you say all this stuff, and it's so much information and so informative. I appreciate it, and I'm sure they appreciate it. So now if anyone that's in the DMV area, like you said, anywhere pretty much, they're going to call you because they're going to be like, wait a minute, I need more. As a matter of fact, I need to hire Tory, so absolutely. So you could give it to them when they contact you. This interview is just the cliff notes. This is just the bridge for them to be able to connect with you, so I definitely, like I said, I definitely appreciate it. So moving forward, because I don't want to take too much of your time. So real quick, with flipping homes and selling real estate, is it more profitable to sell real estate, or is it more profitable to sell or flip homes? Did I say that right? Selling real estate, flip homes?
No, you said it right. So I'm going to tell you, that's a complicated question. And the reason I'm going to tell you it's a complicated question, because one, it also depends on where you live. Like if you're in California and you're a realtor, you're making major bank. The average home being a realtor, your commission of 5% or 6%, it's almost $500,000 or $350,000. So it all depends. But I say that to say this. It also depends on where you're doing real estate. Secondly, when I started, one of my brokers at the time said, Tory, you become a realtor, you should become a real estate investor. The long-term profit is making profit work for you and not you working for profit. Get that? Making profit work for you and you not working for profit. A lot of people work for money, but they don't know how to make money work. That's the difference. So she was buying properties, and she started off as a realtor, same way I started off. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to start buying properties and get into the real money. To be an investor and do a flip, it also depends on the market as well. It's where you do it. I don't want to sit here and tell you to be a realtor, you're going to make less money. I don't want to tell you you're an investor, you're going to make more money. I think that you have to be strategic on who you are and where you're going to invest to make profit, make more than the real estate. Also, to be a realtor, you have to have a passion for it to be able to make more than the investors. I think it's tangible. It's your passion and your area, because a real estate investor can make booming money in one area, and a realtor can make just as much money in another area. Slanging houses like it's cocaine in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like it all depends. But it all depends. I think it's the individual location.
Yeah. So what do you love most about flipping homes and selling real estate?
What I love about flipping homes and selling real estate, I love taking a project. It's almost like, to me, it's almost like an individual that's torn. Like, I think real estate is like myself. It's been places in my life that I've been down and torn, and then you're rebuilding. You start with the foundation. You start inside the walls, and you start making something beautiful. You start putting up the walls once the foundation is laid, the plumbing laid, the HVAC is laid, the wiring is laid, you know, then you start building up the walls, and then you start doing the framing. And when you do the framing, then you do the walls, you do the painting.
Oh no.
And then you get that finished product, and you see something that's beautiful that you created.
Yeah.
That's what I love about real estate. I love creating something out of, I don't want to say nothing. This last project was nothing, but making something that somebody wants to live in.
Oh.
You still with me?
Okay, I was about to say you're going in and out, but
yeah. You still with me?
Yep, I'm still here. I just want to make sure you're still here with us too. Okay, there you go. Oh, well, you're frozen. We can hear you, but you just keep freezing. Oh, okay. It was completely frozen. Ooh. Okay, so like I was saying, you guys earlier, down in the description box below, if you want to connect with Tory, his Instagram link is down, and also his website is down. And thank you so much, guys, for rolling with me so far. I'm sure he's going to connect really soon. I have one more missing link interview after this, and then the season will be over. There we go. Yay, you're back.
I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's me, it's God, intervention. It's been a long day, but what I was telling you is I like creating something that's beautiful out of nothing. Or either, well, the last one was out of nothing. It was literally rubble boards, look like a haunted house, to make it into a beautiful home. And you're transforming something beautiful. It's like art. It's like you're creating, oh, I want these countertops here. I wanted to arch out, little, eating kitchen. I want the stainless steel. I want the light fixtures. I want the dimmers. This building art. I want the vanity. We're gonna go with gray. We're gonna go with Java Metro. We're gonna go with the pecan lakeshore flooring, or the crown molding that matches the floor. We're gonna go to a white crown molding that matches the walls. It's the art. We're gonna go put carpet on the steps. We're gonna put hardwood on the steps. Oh, we might not do it. Oh, the house comes with hardwood. We're just gonna refinish every day. We're gonna set it down, refinish it, and restain it. And we're gonna go with maybe like a mahogany or cherry wood, and we're gonna make it look good. We're gonna make something that's old, looks good, new. It's gonna be something that somebody wants to live in.
Yeah. So what do you like least about flipping homes?
The contractors. I think I'm waiting on them to invent robots. And you were like, hey, I need a robot to do the havoc. I need a robot to do the plumbing. I need a robot to do my lighting. This is what I need done. Go ahead. I'll even go ahead and pay you in advance.
Right.
Yeah.
Put it in my bank account.
Automated. I need an automated contract
number. I get it. And I've worked with contractors before, so I know that I understand the struggle. So I definitely get it.
Sabrina, I had one supposed to fix a house. I got one of my houses in Alabama. Supposed to do the bathroom. The guy didn't even tell me he didn't show up this weekend. I'm like, dude, okay, I bought the products. You didn't show up. You didn't say nothing. Well, it's like they're really bad. There's a lot of bad contractors out here.
Yeah. See, that's one thing when I was in management. That was one thing about me. I was so anal. I would be like, hey, it's 8:01. Just wondering if you're on site. You're on site? Okay, I just wanted to follow up. Anyway, if you need me, just call me. Have a great day. Like, that would be me. And I know they would be like, this.
You're hired. Okay, I'm going to give you all my contacts. I'm sending them over now. You're hired, Sabrina.
Right. But it's like, even though like I'm on it, like I'm so sweet and nice about it. Like, how can you be mad at me for checking up on you after 1 minute, making sure? I mean, that's just me. But that's why, I'm working for $1 million companies, and I am the HBIC. So I have to make sure I'm doing my job, because guess what? I still want to get paid too. So if my job insists of making sure you're on time and you on time and you on time, y'all gonna be on time.
Not your time, but my time and on time.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, so I definitely understand the struggle. So are you working on any projects right now? I know you said you mentioned something that you have with Carrie. So are you working on any projects now that you can and you would like to share?
Well, as to the home projects, like real estate home projects, I just finished one. I'm about to get into a couple more. I'm still trying to learn the areas. Right now, I'm focused on the Baltimore area. I'm just learning it. So it takes a whole day to ride out there. So, but as for other projects, I'm working on one with Carrie. We're trying to put together a real estate and hard money investment workshop where we can pretty much give people packages on basically spoon feed them the magic. Like what took me years to learn, I can give it to somebody in a day. And if they're just willing to soak it up. And this is one thing about working with Carrie, she works on the other side too. So not only can we equip people with the tools they need, like literally the tools they need. Like they don't need anything else. Tell them what to do, tell them where to go, tell them how to do it, set them up, with valuable contractors, valuable funding, valuable knowledge and information that is successful. And we're just trying to put together those packages. So what we're going to do now, or what we're in the process of doing, is putting workshops together that we can give or solicit to individuals that are really trying to get investments.
So let me say this, that is so smart, because real quick, and this is on subject but off subject, you know how like, I don't know, I mean, you might not know, but there's people like, especially like a couple years ago, people were like, buy this vendors list for like hair and makeup and whatever. And they were like, we have all the vendors list here. You can download the ebook for $39.99 and it gives you all the vendors you can buy wholesale clothes from. Like, that was genius. I was like, wait a minute, they have a vendors list where you can buy it for $39.99 and it has all the vendors where you can, because of course I do clothes, where you can like wholesale clothes and they give you that for $40. And I'm like, that's genius. It's not so genius to the people that don't know, but all that information is free on Google. But the fact that you guys are coming up with something like that, like with contractors lists and stuff like that, especially if it's like within this area, that's genius.
Well, that comes with years of knowledge and networking and meeting people and storing your database. But also, I would say, Sabrina, if people got to realize, because people are like, oh, they don't want to pay for things. We got to realize, if you save $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 for several months of your time, that's by giving somebody, $300 or $400, and you save thousands. People don't realize in the long run you save thousands, because I lost thousands Sabrina.
I
calculated it up just because I didn't know stuff, or I wanted to beat around the bush. I probably lost maybe, just be a man up to say, I probably lost maybe 120K over my career, because I had to learn. I had to learn it. I had to fail. I met somebody on a plane one day. He's the one who put me on the Baltimore, and he sat me down, and I learned a lot of stuff from him after me doing it for years. He's like, and I'm like, why did I think of that? Why did I not know this? But brain in my head did not. He was like, Tory, I didn't know it either. I'm like, he's like, I'm trying to figure out why people do this and why people do that. I want to tell you, but I'm not going to say that for the workshop. He's like, and I'm like, oh my God, why is the light bulb was not in my head to know this stuff all myself? And I said, and I'm thinking in my head, that was $65,000 at the time. I would have saved. I would have gave him $1,000, a couple $1,000 just to show me what he actually showed me, and what's called would have saved me $65,000 and a lot of headache. If he had came to me and said, Tory, I'll show you how to do the ropes for $1,000, I'd be like, here you go. Yeah. Because he's saving me money, lots of money. And a lot of people, they don't look at it now. They look at it now, but that long-term money, dealing with the right people, not making those mistakes, not having to go back and do stuff over and over. Yep. Because your contractor's not locking up the doors, or you didn't have that know-how to know when something wasn't being done or was being done, or even the knowledge to cut some of the taxes out. You know what I'm saying? Like save yourself like almost maybe $25,000 or $2,000, depending on how much of the property worth of taxes. Yeah. Or especially if you're about to reinvest. Oh my God, so you about to reinvest? Why are you just about to throw $15,000, $20,000 in the thing? You're about to go buy something else. I'm not going to tell y'all. But you better buy something else. If you want to throw $20,000 away, give me that $20,000. You're about to throw because you don't want to, because you want to do it yourself. Yeah. Or you want to be cheap at first. You about to throw $20,000 down the drain. You want to throw $20,000 to give Tory $20,000. I'm only going to charge you maybe under $1,000.
Yes.
But you want to throw that $20,000 away? That's on you. I can use it. I'm never too much. I never have enough money to throw away $20,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And me as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, because I have about I have 5 businesses that I do.
You got 12 businesses, y'all. You got 12.
So I don't talk about all my businesses. I promote the ones that, that I have, like, for social media, but it's businesses that I have outside of my social media world that I do. And a lot of people don't understand, and I had to go through it too. And I've been in business for almost 20 years. So I had to make those same mistakes too in my line of business. And it cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. What Tory is saying is absolutely right. If you are interested in going into business for yourself, get the education, invest in yourself. And that's how you have to think about it. You have to say to myself, you know what? This course is going to cost me $500, or this class that Tory is teaching me for 4 classes at $99 a class, teaching me this for this class, that for this class, that for, you know what I'm saying? Or Sabrina has a thing for, online business and selling clothes, and how she's successful and makes X amount of dollars. And, she's like, you have to really learn from people that are successful in that field. And if people, especially if you see them working their butts off and striving, and they're educated within that field. And it doesn't have to be me or Tory. I'm just saying, just in general, you have to think about it as an investment. You have to invest in yourself. You have to educate yourself. I cannot stress how important that is. So I'm just so glad that you said it, so I could piggyback off of it. I don't want to take over your
No, Sabrina, you are right. People will invest in other people than they invest in themselves. People will invest in a job before they invest in their own career. Yes. I've learned this. Like, you will go to somebody's job, and I realized this because I did a job in pest control years ago, and I hated it. But I'm like, okay, as a realtor, when I got in a realtor, you had to do the calls. When back in the day, it was okay to cold call.
Your leads.
I would cold call for somebody else, but I wouldn't cold call for my own self.
Right.
What sense did that make?
Right.
What sense did that make? I'll pick up the phone and make a call for a job I hate. Yes. Pick up and make those calls for myself. And a lot of us tend to make investments in other things. We don't invest in ourselves. Right. We invest in other people's careers. We invest in other people's success. We invest in other people's clothing lines. We invest in job success, security, and success. But we don't never have job security. Job security is a myth. Just so you know, it is not real. The only security that you have is an investment you put in yourself. And I want y'all to tell y'all, young ladies and gentlemen out there, it's scary. And if you do it and then you don't have fear, then you're not doing the right thing, because you're supposed to be scared to invest in yourself. You're supposed to be scared to do it. That fear is telling you to jump off that ledge. And when you jump off that ledge, you got 2 things. Either you're going to fly, or we can just say sink or swim, because we're going to jump on the ledge into some water. But we're going to sink or swim. And it's your choice on how hard you want it. Mm-hmm. You can't expect anybody to give it to you. So many days I wish I wake up and somebody give me something, but I know I got to take it and get it myself.
Facts. And it's so true. And I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, because I stress this every time, I go on my lives and, and I talk to them when I mentor people. It's so important. Think about how many hours you sit and watch YouTube videos. What about watching YouTube videos that's teaching you in your field that, okay, I sell clothes, but guess what? Or, what can I do to take my clothing business to the next level? Let me go research it. Let me go on YouTube instead of sitting around watching these funny reels and stuff like that. Let me do this. Let me,
some DIY.
Exactly. Some DIY stuff. Let me go when I'm on Instagram, and I tell people all the time, it's so funny. I was on Instagram one time, and this guy says to me, he goes, every time I'm on social media, you on social media. You always on social media. Dad, why you always on social media? I was like, first of all, but in real life, people don't understand. And I need people to really hear me. If you see Sabrina on social media all the time, it's because Sabrina is making money. I'm not on there because it's cool. I just want to see what Tory's doing today. Scroll. Tory, you on there. You want to see.
Yeah, check it out. Stop playing.
Yeah, but like you said, it's an investment. Like you have to really apply yourself. You have to really like stop BSing on social media. Stop. Like it's so much money out here. And I always say crabs in a barrel is so much money out here for all of us to make. Like in real life, we could all be millionaires.
You said it, Sabrina. You know, I'm going to tell you an honest truth. And I hate to say this, and I really hate to say this, especially a child. I spent my 20s before I got into real estate asking older, successful Black men to help me be successful. I told them I would work for free. I told them, hey, I remember a guy was an investor, and I remember I wasn't even doing real estate then, I was doing that pest control. And I was like, man, so I went to do is check this out. I'm like, man, you're making really good money. I saw this, I think back then it was either MySpace or Facebook just transitioned. Yeah, back in the day. Everybody packed up on MySpace and went to Facebook. And so I'm like, yeah. So I called him. I told him I work for free, man. I also was a tax guy, so I work for free. And I understand people being busy, but my thing is, it's just a little bit of knowledge, young brother, to share out for our people. This is why I'm so big on the empowerment of individuals, the melanated individuals that I want to see successful. Because there's nobody that can come to me and say, I would not want to see you successful. I'm not eating off your plate. This plate is big enough for everybody. And but I say that to say is, like they use the crab and barrel mentality. A lot of people don't want to help you because they feel like you'll take off their plate. And my thing is, they don't realize how big that plate is. Right. You're too busy looking at it. And I tell people in life, in real life, we have a problem. Problem is we're always looking at what somebody else got and not what we have. Because what we realize, if you take the time to just appreciate the things we have, you might have something way more than somebody else, and somebody's looking at you the same way saying, I wish I had what they have. And it's a triple effect because there's always somebody at the bottom. You're nowhere near the bottom. And this goes out to your audience out here. I want y'all to understand this, if this is off the subject, because everybody feels like this. At some point in your life, you feel like you're not going nowhere, or you're feeling why you haven't been there, or not getting where you want to be, and don't realize you maybe are better off than a lot of people out there. Yeah. If there's a golden destination you want, you have to get up a little bit earlier, sleep a little bit later. You got to start making steps. And the best thing to do is write it down and give yourself deadlines. Deadlines are the hardest thing to give ourselves because it's still like as we older we get, there's not that much time in a day. So give yourself deadlines. Yeah. And what I've started to realize about myself in that time, and Tory, stop trying to finish everything or do a lot in one day. Put yourself in that one box of 2 hours or an hour or 45 minutes, even if it's working out, and stay within that time frame, and then move on to whatever else time frame to put something else in it. And that way you're still being consistent every day towards you get to your goals. Because if you try to accomplish something and you're frantic, and you feel like life and time is going by too fast, it's because you're focused on one thing. You need to be focused on every little thing that you need to have accomplished and put it in that time frame. If you can't finish it in that time, sorry, it's too bad. Move on and get at it in that time frame tomorrow.
That's right. You got to stop focusing on what you don't have and start focusing on what you do have. And it's so amazing, and everything that you just said is so right, because I'm like, I stress positive energy, and that's exactly why I made the missing link, is to bridge those gaps so I can show, excuse me, because I'm getting so flustered, so I can show like people out there, especially that look like us, like if Tory can do it, if Sabrina can do it, if he can do it, if she can do it, then hey, I might can do it too. You know what I mean? And this is such an amazing interview. I appreciate you so much, Tory.
I appreciate you. I'm gonna tell you a fun fact about me. A lot of people don't know. I'm 50% deaf.
Really?
I have hearing aids, but I lost them, and I'm not about to pay another $6,000 for them. So yeah, but I'm 60% deaf. Yeah, 50% deaf. I'm sorry. I've been deaf, and I lost my hearing December 2010. Right. A lot of people don't know that. But they do notice I'm properly placed on the show, like usually to somebody's left. Sometimes I was on their right, but I couldn't really understand. But anyway, make a long story short, I was so distraught about my hearing. Until I'm into the hearing clinic and a man walks in and can't see. So this is what I tell people. We're always looking at ourselves. are looking at somebody else that's like in a successful plane, but you're always doing better than somebody else. I'm complaining about my hearing. I can't hear. And yes, it's detrimental to me. It is very detrimental, period, not to be able to hear, because a lot of people don't realize you hear things before you see them. So when I first lost my hearing, I got my butt toasted by a few cars. Because you hear them coming before you actually see them. A lot of people don't realize that. And but the man walked in and couldn't see, and I'm sitting there hearing things. I'm like, you know what? I could be blind. And or I could be this. I could be that. I still got two hands. I got two feet that work, two legs that work. It's not people like, you gotta look at yourself like this. Do you have a house? Do you have a car? Do you have food in your mouth? You know, those are the things that some people don't even have. So
trust me, I get it. I came from nothing, and I used to sleep in my car and in the basements of my friends' homes where they had roaches and it was mildew and mold, and and I had to make it work, and bought my clothes from the Goodwill, and that's where I bought my first sewing machine, was from the Goodwill. That's how I taught myself how to sew. People really never really know our stories and what we have come through, and the things that we have dealt with to get to exactly where we are. And it's like people just see us on social media and they see like these amazing pictures and this amazing lifestyle that we may show that we live, and really don't realize what we went through to get to where we are today. And I commend you, and I had no idea, but I commend you. I think you're amazing. And I think you have an amazing heart. You're so knowledgeable in your field and in your area. And I know absolutely that anyone that watched this tonight and that will watch the replay will probably rewind it, go get some paper and pen and sit and take notes, because you dropped a lot of gems today. And I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you for having me. You're
you.
a blessing. You've always been a good guidance since I've transitioned off my journey. And I really appreciate that. And I love to see what you're doing. I love to see women such as yourself being successful, being entrepreneurs, taking something, making it yours, being fruitful, and being humble about it, and willing to give and to help those that were in your place. I love you. Snaps to you.
Thank you, Tory. Let people know how they can find you.
So let y'all know, I'm still working on my website. So there are some stuff that transitioning, but my website is www.smithtaylorprojects.com. That's www.smithtaylorprojects.com. So don't pay too much to the literature. My person that's on the website, they're still working on it. You can also hit me up at my email, which is at smithtaylorprojects@gmail.com. That's smithtaylorprojects@gmail.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram at kinglocks38. And my number will be on my flyer on my Instagram, because I have a business number, or you can go to smithtaylorprojects.com and get my number from there.
And do you want to let them know a little bit more about the project that you and Carrie are working on? Like, is it going to be Instagram Lives? Is it going to be podcasts? Is it going to be YouTube? Just giving them a little bit more information so they could be looking out for that when it happens?
Yeah, so right now we're actually trying to do an online personal session to set up these packages, depending on what the individual wants. We may work on the podcast a little bit later, but right now we're actually trying to do personal sessions. So we might start with the YouTubes, and those who sign up for classes will do personal courses, and transition that information to them. So they'll have access to us. They'll have access to how to get funds. They'll have access to what to do, contractors, information. And I'm also don't mind helping people step by step. You know what I'm saying? I would love to one day, and this is just an ambition, to start investing with individuals of like mind. That is something that I aspire to do, which is something that I have to put together, where people can work in investment groups and do these home and properties, and what you put in, get a percentage out. So that's something that Tory's going to be working on within the next 12 months. But just be on the lookout. For me, is go to Instagram, follow me at kinglocks38. I promise you, I'll be announcing that sooner, how we're going to project those courses to people, or those classes. Me and Carrie is putting it, formulating together. We're trying to put together pricing and how we're going to project it to our audience. You know, so that's one thing. So just reach out, and we got you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Tory. Thank you for joining me here on The Missing Link. Thank you to everyone that joined in to watch this live tonight. Thank you for everyone and all my soulmates in the chat. I see you guys. I love you guys so much. Other than that, one more episode until the season is over. But thank you for rocking with us, sister. I love you guys so much. Anyway, until the next link, I'll see you later. Bye. Good night.